His family name has been a staple of the sport since 1972. But it was 13 years later before this man burst upon the scene. A former NASCAR Dash Series champion and a many-time Busch Series winner. The 1996 season has seen two of racing's most prominent families, the Waltrips and the Woods, join forces in pursuit of Winston Cup victories. And tonight, you get to spend an hour with the driver of the Wood Brothers Citgo Ford, Michael Waltrip, as TNN Motorsports presents Race Talk.
And there you see the great crowd inside the Wood Brothers facility here in Stewart, Virginia. Good evening, everybody. Waiting on Darrell Waltrip and Michael Waltrip to make it from the racetrack, and they'll be here shortly to be talking racing at Martinsville, Virginia. Well, the news got started off this weekend with another driver changing hands. 1997, Robert Presley will be going over to the Diamond Ridge Racing Team. He'll be replacing Steve Grissom, who earlier this year was released from that ride. And we caught up with Robert to ask him about his new ride for 1997.
Yeah, well, I'm real tickled, you know. Looking forward to working with Gary Bechtel, Bill Engel, Cartoon Network. You know, I think it's going to fit in with me a whole lot, you know. Be able to do a lot of things with the family, you know, the kids. They're real happy about it. So glad my name's out of the mail now and we can get started racing here.
So that means it's definitely going to be a new driver for the 33 car next year, the Skoll car. And rumor has it that Kenny Schrader will be the driver there, though it hasn't been put in ink yet. We've got a crew chief change for 1997. Jim Long, who's now the crew chief for Lake Speed, will be moving over to Ricky Rudd to replace Richard Broom. Parting of the ways there, a mutual agreement between Ricky Rudd and Richard Broom. So it'll be Jim Long heading up Ricky Rudd's efforts in 1997. There was racing in Martinsville, Virginia today. The Truck Series was here. And again, a familiar name hit victory lane, Mike Skinner in the Goodrich Chevrolet, wins for the 7th time this year. Butch Miller was second. Jack Sprague was third. Ron Hornaday, the points leader, was fourth. Now, he still has a 131-point lead over Mike Skinner. Fifth was Old DW, came from 36th to 5th today. Sixth was Joe Ruttman. Rich Bickle was 7th. 8th was Jeff Burton. Jimmy Hensley from nearby Ridgeway was 9th, and Harry Gant was 10th this afternoon. Friday afternoon, guy who'd already won one Busch pole this year, Bobby Hamilton, who earlier won a Busch pole at Michigan. He pulled it off again on the short track in the STP Pontiac. But again, he didn't have the Busch sticker on his car, so that means that he will not be in the Busch Clash for 1997. But he does have the pole and a chance to win over $98,000 if he can pull it off Sunday. His speed was 94.120 miles per hour. Rusty Wallace, second. Mark Martin, third. Dale Jarrett there, fourth. Fifth was John Andretti. Good run on the short track for Bill Elliott, ninth. And the points leader, Jeff Gordon, was 10th. Terry Labonte, who's second in the points, was 11th Friday afternoon. His brother Bobby will start 12th. There's a good qualifying run for Wally Dallenbach. Jeff Bodine, who's won several times here at Martinsville, 20th. Dale Earnhardt will be on the back straightaway. He qualified 19th. Ted Musgrave, who finished second earlier, was 21st. Johnny Benson, 22nd. Darrell Waltrip, he'll start 30th. We'll talk to him about that. Michael, 26th. And pulling up the rest of the field there, Ricky Craven, who had the Busch pole earlier this year, will start shotgun on the field. So Ricky and not having a good run at Martinsville this weekend. And some of the guys that didn't qualify, look there. Derek Cope didn't make it. Brett Bodine, who's had several good runs here. Ward Burton did not make it. And Chad Little did not make the field. Again, Bobby Hamilton, if he can win, he can pick up the Unocal money, even though he won't be in the Busch Clash for 1997. Still a lot of money up for grabs for Bobby Hamilton. But, you know, when you make a pick for this race, and I'm going to make my pick right now, you got to go with a guy that's won 5 out of the last 7 races here. His worst finish in the last 7 races at Martinsville, Virginia, has been third. I'm going to pick Rusty Wallace to win here Sunday afternoon in the Miller Ford. He's had such a great run, but there's going to be some strong competition from people like Terry Labonte, who had a great run in the spring before his brakes went out. Also, you got to consider Ernie Irvin, that team. Dale Earnhardt, he'll be in the mix. And Darrell Walter, before the day is out, he always comes up through there steadily as it goes and picks off several positions. So that's the way I see it. And we'll be back a little bit later on with Michael Waltrip and Darrell Waltrip from the Wood Brothers facility in Stewart, Virginia.
The most out of this Indy car, Patrick Racing put Scott Pruitt behind the wheel. They built a team that could get it in and out of the pits in the blink of an eye. And they chose a battery they can depend on to get it started. The Duralast battery from AutoZone. The same Duralast you can depend on to start your car. So don't settle for anything less. The Duralast battery. Power you can depend on.
The power, very high powered.
The power of the Phantom is phenomenal.
Presenting the most powerful Phantom vacuum cleaner ever, the Phantom Thunder.
It almost looks like your carpet shampoo.
The secret to all this powerful cleaning is the Phantom Vacuum's patented dual cyclonic action. 2 cyclones of non-stop power, driven by a 12-amp 2-stage motor, devour any dirt in its way. And there's another secret you'll love about the Phantom Thunder. No bags. Instead of those messy, power-robbing filter bags that can start to clog up the minute they start to fill up, the Thunder gives you continuous full power and a clear collection bin that's easy to empty.
It's great. You don't have to change any bags. You don't have to buy bags.
The Phantom Thunder is amazingly versatile. Watch. Press a button and go from upright to cleaning wand. It's 2 machines in one. And all that power and handy onboard accessories mean dust and dirt can't hide anywhere. The Thunder is tough on dirt, easy on you.
Phantom does everything. A room can be cleaned quickly, top to bottom, furniture, ceilings, walls, with one piece of equipment.
And because we know how much you care about the air your family breathes, the Phantom Thunder has a certified HEPA filter on its exhaust. It captures even minute dust and household allergens that other vacuum cleaners could throw back in the air.
And I've noticed a great change in my breathing.
The Phantom Thunder is big on power, long on versatility, with a certified HEPA filter for cleaner air and no bags. Don't wait a minute longer to find out more about the incredible 12-amp Phantom Thunder. Call now for a free video and brochure on how to get more vacuum cleaning power without ever using filter bags again. There's no obligation and nothing to lose but dust, dirt, extra work, and changing filter bags. Call now, and more power to you.
Is it over? We're coming back? Where? Oh. Oh, right here. Here's my mark. Oh, gosh. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to... Have y'all done the welcoming? Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show yet? Well, if you haven't, welcome to the show. We just flew over here, Michael and I did, from the Speedway. It took us about 10 minutes, and walked in here, and gosh, I know I don't look very nice, but anyhow, boy, what a great crowd we have here this evening. I think this must be all Woodses, I'm sure. Or at least they're all kin to the Woodses somehow or another, because everybody lives in Stewart is kin to the Woodses, I know. So my brother's here, Michael. He flew over with me, and I guess we need to bring him out here as soon as he gets his face wiped off. And Eli, I don't know where you are, but you couldn't have gotten in a helicopter no way, so you wouldn't have made it. The doors was only so big, you know. I mean, we could only get so much in one helicopter. Come on out here, bro. My little brother, Michael. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful shop. This is the first time I've been over here, and of course Michael has told me about it, and Glenn and Eddie and those guys, Leonard. But this is a great new facility here. Why don't you tell the people a little bit about it?
Well, I signed on to drive for the Wood Brothers at, I guess about this race last year, and they were just getting ready to move into the new shop, and that was real exciting. When we came up here for the race last fall, I got to come visit the place and check it all out, and certainly went over to their old shop, which I'm sure you've been by before, and it's just incredible where they are now and the facility they have compared to where they were, because this place is just awesome. And I'm kind of spoiled. I walked up and they had a new shop ready to go, so that worked out pretty good for me.
Boy, I tell you what, I look back here and everybody remembers that 21 Mercury back there, I know. See, that was the thing. I was envious. When he said he was going to get to drive for the Woods Brothers for about 10 or 15 years, that was a dream of mine. Maybe someday I'll be good enough to drive for the Woods Brothers. I got good enough, but then I guess I got too old. I don't know what happened. But anyway, David Pearson and the Woods Brothers, that was a big deal back when I was first started in racing. And now, Michael Waltrip and the Woods Brothers. I know you and Eddie and the guys get along really well, and it's a good mix. And winning the Winston, I know that had to be a big thrill.
Yeah, that was a fun night. And the whole association has just been great for me. You know, coming from the deal with the 30 car, it just kind of got stagnant over there. And every time we go to the racetrack, everybody on this team is just happy to be there and having a good time. And, you know, we're enjoying our racing. And the Winston certainly is the biggest thing we've done so far, but we're looking forward to the rest of the year, too.
And if we keep getting fined, me and you, we're going to need to win more than the Winston, ain't we?
Yeah. I've been trying to get in the fight for 2 years.
I haven't been fined for anything, and I don't know how long. And last week you get fined, today I get fined. So what's going on?
I don't know. I can tell you, I could have controlled mine probably a little bit.
Well, I don't know if I could have. We're going to take a short break here, and we'll be right back. Don't you go away. Hang with us. More of the show.
You know, more professionals use Napa parts than any other. And that makes all of our customers feel good about our quality. They know what it takes to fix it right the first time.
Get your ride ready for the season at the right price, too, at Napa's Tailgate Sale, with a $10 rebate on our best Napa Legend batteries and Bosch Super Spark Plugs for a low 89 cents each. So head to your nearby Napa Auto Parts store for fall savings at the Tailgate Sale.
We keep America running.
So you're building that deck with Time Life to help you along. You might want to add some built-in benches, page 50. How about a brick patio, guaranteed weed-proof, and a lot easier on your checkbook than some contractor would be.
Now with Home Repair, you get 2 books for $2. Order decks, porches, and patios for just $1.99 and get kitchens free.
Those new countertops sure look good, and doing it yourself probably saved a bundle. So you could do that built-in recycling bin she wanted. Step by step, Time Life makes it easy.
With Home Repair, you get professional results at do-it-yourself prices. Use your credit card to order decks for just $1.99 and get kitchens free.
Home Repair makes you a real hero around the house. So why don't you give them a call? They'd probably love to hear from you.
Call 1-800-779-8484 to get 2 books for only $2. Use your credit card to order decks, porches, and patios, and you'll get kitchens free. Or send check or money order for $1.99 plus $3.95 shipping to the address on your screen.
Hi, I'm Rick Benjamin. Join us tomorrow at noon and 10 o'clock Eastern live from Reno on Race Day. We're there for coverage of the season finale in the SCCA Trans Am Tour, but we've also got full coverage of the Winston Cup cars at Martinsville.
Race Day, tomorrow, 12 noon and 10 p.m. Eastern on TNN Motorsports.
Take 5,000 horsepower.
Down a quarter mile in less than 5 seconds.
And what do you get?
The NHRA on TNN Motorsports.
Get ready. It's a tire-turning, nitro-burning, nose-blowing, piston-blowing, need for speed, take the lead, NHRA on TNN time. Live from Heartland Park, it's the Sears Craftsman Nationals. Sunday, September 29th, 6 Eastern.
It doesn't get any closer.
All right, here we go. 1983, Michael Waltrip, car number 33. Where do you think that is, bro?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia. Look at this.
Won my first Dash Series race there, and went on to win the championship that same year in the series.
How many races did you win in that car?
In altogether in 3 years, I guess, or 2 years, I won 9 races out of about 20 or so that we ran. We had and I think in 1983, we set on every pole that we qualified for, except for one, and that was at Rockingham at the end of the year. And I couldn't get Rockingham figured out in time to qualify, but when the race came around, I had it figured out pretty good, and I led the first lap. So I guess I led the first lap of every race all year long.
How about the first Busch race you ever won? Where was that?
Well, the first Busch race I ever won came in my 3rd start, and that was at Dover, Delaware, driving your car. Darrell had gotten hurt a little bit at Bristol and was going to drive his car at Darlington, and he qualified it and everything, and he decided he was too hurt to race. So Friday afternoon, I guess I got in it and ran a few laps, and then Saturday raced it and finished 3rd, and then we took it up to Dover next week and won. So I ain't drove nothing for him since. I don't know what the deal is with that.
He wanted me to pay him too much. I mean, he kept complaining about how much I paid him. So I couldn't afford to pay him any more than I did, so he drove for somebody else. I think we got somebody on the phone here. Let's see, Nick from Louisiana. Nick, are you on the line? Or no, Tennessee. I thought they said Lafayette, whatever.
Nick,
go ahead, buddy.
Yes, this is Freddie, one of you guys. I'm an avid dirt track and NASCAR fan. I was wondering, why don't more of the Winston Cup guys participate in big dirt track races like the $100,000 to win a Dream? Thank you.
Those guys scare me.
I don't know. Those cars scare me. They got the big old wedge-shaped bodies, and I tell you, they race hard. And
I've driven a little bit of dirt, and every time we go down to the corner, the guy in front of me would turn sideways, and I'd stop. Anytime anybody turns sideways, you know, that's bad.
That's a crash coming.
Yeah, but you gotta do it with them, and I couldn't get used to that. I'm glad I raced on pavement.
Let's see what Scott. Scott, you're on the line here from, where's he from? Zanesville, Ohio.
Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
We're great.
Michael, you're doing a great job this year.
Well, thanks.
And Darrell, I got a question for you.
All righty. Good. Go ahead.
Is your sponsorship with Western Auto set for next year and beyond, or do you know yet?
Yeah, 1997, we'll do all the races again with Western Auto, Parts America, Haviland Motor Oil, just like we're doing this year. That's the plans right now. We're ready to go for another year. Next year's going to be a big year, though. We got a lot of good things that are going to come down, and you know, I'll be 50 years old next year, believe it or not. I know I don't look 50, but I've been in this sport 25 years, and the Woods is over here can attest to that. So we got a lot of things planned for next year. It should be an exciting year for me and the fans and my career. What are you going to do next year, buddy?
I'm going to drive this car again.
How about your Busch car?
We're going to make an announcement on that at Charlotte. I'm really excited about the Busch program. We put that deal together at a very late date last fall and ran the races this year for MW Windows, and Citgo is associate sponsor on that car. And for 97, we're going to run a few more races. Got a lot of exciting things to announce at Charlotte about the Busch program. I'm going to run my first truck race this fall at Vegas here in a couple of months, and really looking forward to that. I've never driven a truck race before, but just watching you out there today, it was exciting. You had to start in the rear, and man, you know, you come up through there really strong. It was fun to watch. I hate you had to start back there. I think you might have been able to win, or at least raced them for it anyway.
I had a great truck today, and you know, I hate I didn't have a shot at winning it. I did get up there close anyway, but I think we got John on the phone. John's from Keene, New Hampshire here. I think that's how you say that. John, what you got on your mind, buddy?
Actually, this question's probably for either one of you. First of all, I want to say it's great to see you both in person and doing a show like this together. My question is, when they do these wind tunnel tests on the different cars, the Fords, the Chevys, and the Pontiacs, how much effect does the wind tunnel give you for crosswinds at some of the bigger tracks like Talladega and Daytona, do they take into consideration? I know they worry about the air dams and the spoilers. Do they take any consideration as to the roof lines, the top of the windows, and the underside of the cars?
Oh, John, yeah, they take into consideration everything. The biggest thing that they can't do in the wind tunnel is the ground doesn't move. So the car's not jostling around like you'll see on the TV with the suspension cams. So that's one thing they can't take into account for the car going through its changes of attitude out on the racetrack. But sitting still, they blow 180, 90 mile an hour wind over the thing, and they get a pretty good idea about the frontal lift, the rear down, and that type of thing. That's what they really look at. In yaw, they turn the car about 5 degrees sideways. That's what they do in the GM tunnel. Have you been to the Ford tunnel?
I haven't been yet, but I hear it's basically the same. I've been to the GM tunnel, and as far as crosswinds go, we've been at Daytona, and the wind blows so hard you could hardly stand up, and at times you can feel it a little bit in the car, but we have so much downforce in them, they stick to the road, and the size of the cars or whatever, the wind really doesn't affect them. The tracks now have grandstands all around them, and that's not really a factor.
Let's see what we got. Gene on the phone here from Maysville, North Carolina. Gene, what you got on your mind?
Yes, first of all, I'd say, Michael, congratulations on your Winston victory. But my question is, what's the future for Thunderbirds in the Winston Cup circuit? And DW, hope you can pull one out. Thank you much.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, as far as I hear, the Thunderbird is going to be racing NASCAR for a long time. There was some rumbling that maybe it would go away, but I haven't heard that confirmed, nor have I heard it from any very reliable sources. So surely there'll be a Ford Thunderbird on the racetrack for many years to come.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, with NASCAR being willing to work with the teams, the Ford teams, the Chevrolet teams, the Pontiac teams, right now you basically could take that car, and as long as they have the wind tunnel testing, and as long as they look at parity on the racetracks, I mean, you can run any car for any period of time, and it would still be competitive. And that's NASCAR's wishes, is to keep all the cars, the parity there, and keep all cars equal.
Seems like they're doing a pretty good job. I don't know. They adjust the rules a little bit every now and then, and sometimes you don't really. Someone might wonder why, you know, things are going good and they change the rules a little bit, but they have all the wind tunnel data and so forth, and the chassis dyno data that they're sitting there, and they have all this knowledge, and then they kind of watch what's going on the racetrack, and if they see a trend starting to develop, then they adjust the rules a little bit, and I think they're doing a nice job at that.
Yeah, they do. They're doing very well. Let's see, we got Gary, is it, from Greensboro, North Carolina. What you got on your mind, Gary?
I just want to know why, when a car comes into the pits under a green flag and a caution comes out, why do they put them a lap down?
Well, that doesn't always happen that way. If you know, if you're at a track, say like Pocono, where it takes you a minute to get around it, basically, say I'm leading the race and I pit, and the caution comes out, I'm going to change all my tires, get back on the racetrack without any penalty whatsoever. The track's too long for me to lose a lap. I'm going to have all my service done. When the other cats the caution comes out, when they open pit road, everybody else have to pit, I'll still be leading the race.
Yeah.
So
I think to answer your question, I mean, that is the answer, but also you have to realize that if the leader passes you, and puts you a lap down, that's how you end up a lap down, and that happens a lot on a 1 mile racetrack. Very seldom can you make a pit stop and not lose a lap under green. So if you're not right with the leader and come in the pits right behind the leader and come out right in front of him, then you're going to go a lap down.
That's what I think too.
Yeah, is that what you said?
I don't know. I forgot.
Well, let's see what Tammy, are you there? Tammy from San Jose. Do you know the way to San Jose?
I just wanted to ask Michael what happened between him and Kyle last weekend.
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. I was wanting to get around to that myself.
Well, Kyle and I had a...
What is this?
What?
When you do... I mean, you were standing there and...
Well, he was yelling at me and he had his lid down. And I was saying, put your lid up.
Oh.
Put your lid up.
I said, man.
And I was trying to get him to put his lid up so I could understand what we were doing there. See, I got really... I got mad. But then I didn't do anything, and then he ran into me after the race was over, and so we decided to stop on pit road.
And y'all are friends.
Oh, we're great friends before and great friends after. I mean, that wasn't any big deal. Sure. But anyway, we pull in the pits, and I jump out, and I'm mad, and I look around, and I see all the people and all the cameras, and I said, I've done this before. said, there ain't nothing good that can come from this situation right here. So I was, and it was my friend anyway, and so as soon as I got out of the car and assessed the situation, I was fine. I wasn't even mad anymore because, you know, on the last lap you race hard. I wasn't mad about him running me over to take 8th place away from me. That wasn't the problem. The problem was the stuff that ensued afterwards. But he was the first person I saw when I got to the racetrack this weekend, and that was just dumb. We should have went in the garage and we could have had that same conversation and nobody ever known, and I would have had $2,000 more to my name.
Let's see, Jesse from Seattle, Washington. Are you there?
Yeah, DW, how you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Good, Michael. Congratulations on that Winston win there. I was pretty laughing at how you said you weren't supposed to win a race like that.
Yeah, anyway, that was a big night.
Anyway, I wanted to find out how you become a transporter driver, because I drive semi for a living, and I'd love to have a job like that.
I think if you just wait long enough, NASCAR will probably start a series, you know, of transport racing. I mean, with the trucks and everything else, it's probably just a matter of time.
Yeah, a lot of people will, you know, come down to North Carolina and travel to the shops and drop off resumes and just try to meet some of the key people on the teams, even if it's, you know, no matter who it is, just try to get your name in the door. And a lot of the guys that get jobs in NASCAR racing do it just like that.
Yeah, and the other thing is the next year now, our schedule is so complicated, and we're going to be traveling so much across the country that there is talk amongst many of the teams, mine included, of having 2 trucks and 2 drivers. So one can go west and one can go east, and the others can stay in the middle, so to speak. So there might be a real need for some truck drivers next year, and you ought to maybe put your name in the hat at some of the shops. We're going to take a short break here, and got to sell something, I think, to pay for the time. And if you'll just stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Is that the right size battery for my car? It doesn't seem to fit.
Don't worry, we'll make it fit. We've been doing this a long time.
It's not going in. Just keep hitting it.
I'm not comfortable with we'll make it fit.
Why not? If it fits, it fits.
It's perfect. Good job.
Pep Boys has the right battery at the right price. 26,000 items at the guaranteed low price, tires and service too. Pep Boys, everything but gas.
Sunday on Motor Trend. It's the hot new Grand Prix from Pontiac. The 240-horse, supercharged sedan that blows the doors off the Taurus SHO. Plus, whether it was in a Charger or a Cuda, it was the master of the street. It's an American classic, the Chrysler Hemi. And they both cost $50 grand. They both have V8s. So how do you decide between the BMW and the Mercedes? We'll help you out. Motor Trend Television, tomorrow morning at 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific.
The best walleye fishermen in the world converge on the Missouri River for the sport's premier event. It's the Professional Walleye Trail Championship Tournament on In Fisherman Television. Saturday, September 28th on TNN Outdoors.
Sleep deprivation. 70 million Americans have experienced it, but you don't have to. Try Maximum Strength Sleep and All Soft Gels with the sleep aid preferred by 7 out of 10 doctors. Sleep and All Soft Gels help you fall asleep fast.
Coming up next week on TNN Country News, we'll follow Winona on the road. Plus, we'll talk to Hall of Fame inductees Buck Owens and Ray Price.
TNN Country News, weeknights.
You like the action? Do you crave excitement? Then listen up.
TNN and Miller present the Win with the Driver Sweepstakes, Year 2.
Feeling lucky?
You could win a trip or two to a live Winston Cup race. And if Rusty Wallace wins the race, you get $5,000. If he finishes, you pocket a cool grand. How do you enter? Watch TNN Motorsports this weekend to find out.
Hey, cool.
See you at the track.
There.
And here we go. Here's some footage from a racetrack this afternoon. Uncle Mike getting out of his car. Are you unhappy with your car? Happy with your car? Who is that man you're talking to?
That would be Eddie
your
Woods.
head engineer?
That would be Eddie Woods there.
There you go.
He's my crew chief. That's Linwood, and that's Danny Glad he was talking to. He's probably he's a real important part of this race team, and you know, really appreciate all the work those cats do. And
I would have to get Leonard or Glenn one up here to. For years and years, they've had an engine program that Holman and Moody continue to do all these years. Is that correct? And just this past year, you took that program in-house.
Holman and Moody still does.
They still do part of the work?
Right.
Short block part, and then you bring them in like you always did and put the cylinder heads, manifold, and all that stuff on them. So it's kind of a unique situation the way they do engines.
It is, and Lynn and Danny Glad have given me some awesome horsepower. I mean, that was a big deal.
How much horsepower you got in one of those Ford motors anyway?
I don't know, but it's a lot. I can tell that. We won.
Oh, you can go ahead and tell me. I won't tell nobody. Tell your old brother here.
Just go in there and see how many straps it takes to hold that thing to the ground when they start it. I mean, we got anchor bolts to hold it in place when they fire that thing off. But the big deal about winning the Winston that night was I was so disappointed after the Open because I knew this car was just so fast. And I was running so bad in it, and I said, these people have given me an awesome car, and it isn't right. Then we got it right, and when we got it right, it had the power it took to outrun those guys.
All right, we're going to go to do some email here. We got a question for you that came in on the computer, and normally I would have my trusty computer right here, but we left it on the helicopter. So, what is the most significant difference in the Wood brothers and the other teams you've driven for?
Well, I've only ever driven for one other team, basically, but that team went through a lot of changes. It was the same ownership, and I was the same driver, but basically it was a different team 3 or 4 times. And I think that's the unique thing about this team. Eddie and Lynn and Glenn and Leonard and those guys obviously have been here since the beginning and will be here till the end. So you have a certain amount of, it flows well because they're the ones that run the deal. And then the people that they get to work here are from Stewart or up in this area, most of them. So there's not a lot of turnover. And you can build a good, solid race team when you have the same faces, every day. You don't have to worry about guys quitting or leaving or whatever. And just the team spirit, that's the biggest difference for me. I come up to this shop or I go to the racetrack, and everybody's smiling, having a good time. It's just we're racing and having fun. And I never really had that much before, and that's the most important thing to me, I think.
I know it's important to have fun when you race. It's important to have fun when you do anything, and that's one element I think that we kind of lost. A lot of teams have. It's such a big business today, and there's so much pressure, and you got to win, and if you don't win, you got to make up all these reasons why you don't win. And so it's good to have fun and go to the track and enjoy the camaraderie of the other teams and everything. Jackie, I think, is on the phone here from Tyler, Texas. I know some folks from Tyler, Texas. I don't know if I know Jackie or not. Are you there, Jackie?
Yes, I'm here.
What you got on your mind tonight, dear?
Well, I want to know what the age difference is between you two.
It's a bunch. Everybody thinks he's my dad. They'll say, "Where's your dad?" And I'll say, "Oh, he's back in Kentucky." "Well, what's he doing there? We racing here this weekend." I say, "Well, my brother's racing here, but Dad, he's home."
There's 16 years difference in us, and
that many?
There's 16, and I could go into a lot of funny stories. When Mom was pregnant with Michael, I was 16, when she had Michael, I was 16, and I was, in high school and everything, and me and my sister Carolyn, who may or may not be here yet, we wouldn't bring our friends over to the house because we were so embarrassed that our mother was, at her age, pregnant. And we didn't want anybody to see her that way. And so we were always kind of avoiding going over to the house because we didn't want them to see Mom pregnant. But 16 years, and really and truly, we never knew each other very well until he started racing.
That's
Once
true.
he started racing, and we got to running into each other, not necessarily on the track. I guess our relationship is tighter today than it was all those years growing up. Let's see what Rick's got. Rick's got a question for us here on the voicemail. What is it, Rick?
Michael, how old were you when you first got when you first got involved in racing, when your brother decides to retire, is there a chance that you would go and drive for him if he would let you?
I don't think he'd let me. I was about 12. I got a go-kart and started racing all around Kentucky when I was 12 years old, and by the time I turned 16, I was real fortunate because short track racing in Owensboro had kind of died out. Darrell had left, and really the local track, there wasn't anything going on much there. And just lucky that by the time I turned 16, there had been a resurgence out at the local track. Everybody was wanting to go out to the quarter mile at Whitesville and watch them race. And I got me a car and won the first race I ever was in, won it. And that was dumb luck, but it happened that way, and I promise it did. But that racetrack was probably what got me into NASCAR because I had a place to race. You know, if it had been a few years earlier, maybe not have been a place to race.
No, it's true. And you know, when I saw him race his go-kart, he was just a little scrapper, 12, 13 years old. He came down to Nashville to race on a Sunday race down there. And he started dead last in one of the races, and there were like 15 go-karts, and he took the lead on the first turn. Through the grass he went and took the lead. And I told my dad, I said, he'll never make it. He'll never make it. He'll kill himself before he ever has a chance to make it. We got to sell some stuff, and we got to tell the people where we're going to be next week. First of all, next week, we're going to be at Heartland Park.
Wow.
Topeka. Boy, I tell you what, I love that place. Great road course. But next week, you're going to see Kenny Bernstein, Don Perdome, and John Force. Now, you're talking about a show, and Eli will be there, and it'll take an Eli to control that crowd right there. Any of you that know John Force know he'll probably try to take over the show, so I'm glad I'm not host of that show next week. And in 2 weeks, we're going to be at my shop in Harrisburg there, just right across the street from a racetrack. And you got to have an invitation because as here, we only have a room for so many people, and so you got to have an invitation to come over there. So that's where we're going to be the next couple of weeks. Right now, we're going to take a break. Be right back.
God bless Texas. Wow, now that's great music. You know, as a country music host, I get to listen to the very best of today's hottest new country sound. Hits from Diamond Rio, John Michael Montgomery, and Pam Tillis. Now, what if I told you can get all this great music in one incredible music collection? It's called Westwood's New Country, and it sounds amazing.
We've been loving all night, just about fill me everything right. Take it like a man, steady and strong. I'll tell the truth except when I lie. It only hurts me when I cry.
Can you believe it? Westwood's New Country gives you all this great music. 48 hot country hits from the 80s and 90s.
I'm gonna cry, but there ain't nothing wrong with a radio.
In total, you get 2 hours of music, and it's all yours on 3 cassettes or 3 CDs. Here's more.
That's a storm dancing on the water. Night I fell in love with the Queen of Memphis. Come on, baby,
I love this collection, and now you can have it for your very own on 3 cassettes for $24.99 or 3 CDs for $29.99.
I walk the door.
Now that's a price worth celebrating. Remember, you won't find this collection in any store, so call now.
To order Westwood's New Country, have your credit card ready and call the number on your screen. Or send check or money order for $24.99 for 3 cassettes or $29.99 for 3 CDs, plus $4.95 shipping and handling to the address on your screen. Westwood's New Country is not available in stores. You get 48 hot country hits from the 80s and 90s. Pick up the phone and call now.
All right, I think that for those of you that don't know, that's Neil Bonnett's car, and that's Neil backing the car out of the garage. One of the true, perfect gentlemen in this sport. And the car is sitting right here behind us. It's the car that Neil drove, the blue car, the 21 car. And Neil was a wonderful person, and he's deeply missed. I saw Susan when we were in Talladega, and we were over at the Davy Allison Memorial Park there in Talladega, and Susan's doing very well, and our best goes out to her and all that family. So we got a question here from Greg. He's our audience question tonight, and Greg is from Grand Rapids, and I'm sure you have a really, really good question. What is it, Greg?
Easy question. It's for both of you. With your busy schedules, do you find it hard to spend time with your families?
Well, yes and no. I'm real fortunate that my wife gets to go with me everywhere I go, so I get to spend a lot of time with her. I have a little girl, Caitlin, who lives with her mother, and she doesn't get to go very much, and I miss her a lot. I'd like to get to see her more. But with racing the way it is nowadays, it's really neat. Daryl brings his 2 girls and his wife with him everywhere, and you have a motorhome, and in the evening after practice and stuff, the motorhome lot looks like Disneyland. There's millions of kids running around having a good time. So we're real fortunate in our job to have the type of lifestyle that we do. We don't miss out on much.
Yeah, you know, it's my experience in Winston Cup racing. Stevie was with me from day one, and she's worked in the pits, and I don't mean changing tires or jacking the car up or anything, but she's been my technician in the pits for 25 years. The only races she's ever missed Winston Cup was when she had the 2 children, and we were determined, and I have been ever since I've been married for 27 years, that racing is just a part of our life. At one time, I guess you might say it was our life, but today it's just a part of our life, and we want the kids to go and enjoy and see what Dad does and what he's done. And Stevie's we homeschool the children because we travel all the time. We homeschool the children, and we spend all our time at the track or going to and from the track. So you got to take your families with you, and we're very fortunate we're able to do that. I believe this may be my other brother Daryl on the phone. I'm not sure. This is Daryl from Milton, Florida. Hey, Daryl, how you doing tonight?
How y'all doing?
Good.
Good.
What I want to know is, what do y'all find the most challenging about racing?
Everything. Mainly the traffic when the race is over. The competition level in NASCAR Winston Cup racing is incredible. You can run 30th if you have a bad day, and that's where you finish. I mean,
Yeah.
who ever heard of such a thing, you know, that you'd run all night long and wind up finishing 30th? But that's the toughest thing to me, is the fact that there's so many cars that run so well that you can have some of the finishes that you can have.
Yeah, you can run great, and this is no lie. And then I know people say to me all the time, when are you going to win again? I don't know. You can run as good as you can run, and you can get the most out of your equipment, and you can finish 15th. I mean, it's just that competitive. And you can have the fastest car on the track and lose it in the pits. And so it's not like it used to be. And again, Glenn and Leonard know, back 20 years ago, 15 years ago, you had 4 or 5 people you had to beat. And some way, somehow, you'd figure out how to beat those 4 or 5 people. Today, you got 15 or 20 you got to beat. And sometimes, like I say, you can beat them on the track, and you can't beat them in the pits, or circumstances don't go your way. I think our next caller, if I'm correct, is Paula from Deer Park, New York, and she's the winner of this beautiful home track collection from Pulaski. And what is it? What's in there? Is that it's a stereo cabinet. That's what I was thinking. I didn't know if those trophies came in there or not. I was curious. I thought I might try to win that myself. It's pretty neat. But anyway, Paula, you're the winner of that, and thank you for calling. And what's your question?
Hi, how you doing?
Fine.
How you guys doing tonight?
Fine.
We're good.
My question's for Michael.
Okay.
Okay, Michael, I've been a fan of yours for about 2 years now. I've been watching Winston Cup because there's not too much racing up on Long Island where I live.
Uh-huh.
So I would like to know, I think you're it's so adorable. I want to know if you broke your nose, if you ever broke your nose, and if so, did you do it racing?
Yeah, I broke my nose at Michigan, and then I went to the doctor, and he broke it to fix it, which was dumb because it hurt worse when he fixed it than I did when I broke it. But it was crooked a little bit, Buffy said, so I had to fix it. But I didn't like that too well.
Well, that was kind of a nosy question, if you ask me. But anyhow, you handled it well. And with that, I think we'll just take a short break, and we'll be right back.
Hurry into Pep Boys, where right now you can get any 4 all-season 35,000-mile tires for just $109. Any size, any 4 35,000-mile tires in stock, $109. Pep Boys, everything but gas.
You like action? Do you crave excitement? Then listen up.
TNN Motorsports and Miller present the Win with the Driver Sweepstakes Year 2. We're bringing it back for repeat performance. Enter today and you can win a trip for 2 to one of these live Winston Cup races. You'll also get spending money, a complimentary team jacket, a tour of the Miller team's rig and pit, meet Rusty Wallace, and more.
Hey, cool.
And if Rusty wins the race, you get $5,000. If he finishes, you pocket a cool grand.
You feeling lucky?
To enter, send a postcard with your name, address, and phone number to this address.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your entries.
Get your entry in by September 27th, and then watch Race Day on TNN October 6th to find out if you're going to the Duraloop 500 October 27th.
Enter now.
This sweepstakes is brought to you by Split Fire Spark Plugs and 104 Plus Octane Boost.
I'm Gracie Bird. Join guest hosts Gary Morris, Billy Dean, and Porter Wagner and their guests, John Berry, Susie Bogus, Trace Atkins, George Dukas, and Bill Gaither. Don't miss it.
Prime Time Country, weeknights on TNN, the Nashville Network. The American Speed Association. It's a different breed of racing. Total determination, unleashed on cutting-edge racing vehicles. It takes metal, nerve, with no room for let-up. It's a convergence of contenders, all vying for just one thing, to win. The ASA AC Delco Challenge Series Toledo 400, Sunday, September 29th, 1 p.m., noon Central on TNN Motorsports.
Take 5,000 horsepower. Down a quarter mile in less than 5 seconds.
And what do you get?
The NHRA on TNN Motorsports.
Get ready. It's a tire turning, nitro burning, nose blowing, piston blowing, need for speed, take the lead, NHRA on TNN time. Live from Heartland Park, it's the Sears Craftsman Nationals. Sunday, September 29th, 6 Eastern.
It doesn't get any closer.
You see Richard Petty and David Pearson coming down to the white flag at Daytona in 1976. They had an exciting finish when they wound up back at the checker. That's the car in the background here that if you remember Richard Petty and David Pearson crashing at the start-finish line at Daytona, the car here in the shop is the one they had there. David certainly had a lot of exciting runs in that car, and that was part of the deal with me coming to drive for the Wood Brothers is the heritage and the history. I mean, David Pearson, Cale Yarborough, Mario Andretti, and then, of course, Glenn Wood being successful as a driver, and what a team he formed. And it was really something special for me to get to sit in the seat of the 21 car. I've really enjoyed that and look forward to doing it for a long time to come.
I know you'd have probably really enjoyed it 10 or 15 years ago.
Well,
because they won every race.
I know it.
I mean, not every now and then, every race. One year, I think Pearson won every super speedway race they had.
Yeah. You know who's the host now? Me.
Well, host?
Well, I'm really not sure I know how. So, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Good.
Yeah.
You had some great battles with that 21 car back in the late 70s, late mid 70s, and so on.
Late 70s, and yeah, I did. That was always a goal of ours, was to beat the 21 car. I mean, if you beat the 21 car, you'd won the race. And of course, you'd see old Pearson out there, he'd be dragging around, not running very hard, and you'd just about have him lapped sometime. And you'd see him up there ahead of him, and said, boy, if I can get him a lap down, I know I got this thing in the bag. A caution would come out. And the next thing you know, there he was right behind you. And he'd pull up beside of you. He'd have a cigarette in his mouth. And you'd say, uh-oh, I don't think this is going to be good. And he would put the cigarette out, and he would check out on you.
He would quit smoking the cigarette and start smoking
you, right? The track. He was awesome.
We got a call on the line. Gary from Houston, Texas. Gary, how's everything in Texas?
Well, we're doing fine, gentlemen. Good afternoon. Daryl, I'll tell you what, Michael's the host now,
yeah,
and he has to have a perfect nose. I've got a real good rubber hammer in the trunk of my car if you'd like to help me.
Oh, no, I wouldn't be necessary. Leroy might be watching, Margaret. They wouldn't be happy about that.
What's your question,
They don't
Gary?
think I treat him right anyway, so.
What's your question, Gary?
All right, sir, let me get to it. Since the other guy answered my question about me going to work for y'all as a truck driver, I'd like to know, we have the Stavola brothers in racing, we have the Wood brothers in racing. Is there any possibility in the future that we might see the Waltrip brothers owning a team and putting a young driver out there and just really going to town in NASCAR? And by the way, we're real happy to have a NASCAR track in Texas now.
Oh, yeah, that's
We're
exciting.
happy about that, too.
I visited down there. You never know what the future holds. Daryl and I both is a part of, like you said, racing is a part of our life, but it's a real important part of our life, and we enjoy the chance to be at the racetrack, and I'd like to own a team one day, and you certainly already do, so who knows what might work out in the years to come.
Yeah, that's the thing about this sport. I think you look at driver changes, drivers with contracts that say, oh, I own half the team. I'm thinking about Ricky Cravens. I'll never leave here.
Yeah.
And he's going to drive for Rick Hendricks next year. So in this sport, you never know. You can't never say never in this sport. That's one thing I learned a long time ago. Because about the time you say you'll never do something, that's when you end up having to do it.
You do it. Howard from Gastonia. Howard, how are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. You, Mike?
Gastonia is in North Carolina. That's why I didn't say that part. Yeah, I'm doing great. Go ahead.
Okay. How about you, Daryl?
Boy, I'm tired.
That's why I had to take over the load of the show here.
Yeah.
I'm now the host, and could you get to your question, please?
This show will never be the same. I guarantee Eli has turned it off by now.
I don't know if this question has ever been asked before.
Oh, yeah. I bet you it has.
Well, let's see.
Well, I know there's a lot of people who'd like to know. During a long race in...
do you have to use the bathroom?
Yeah.
What do you do? Is that the question?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been asked many, many times.
Yeah, it has. I personally cannot bring myself to using the bathroom on myself now.
You do?
I can't.
Oh, you can? I thought you said you did.
No.
I can
just
remember
hold.
changing some of your diapers, but...
I just wind up holding it. What about you?
You know, it's never been a problem for me.
No, me either.
I don't know of many drivers that it is. I mean, it's kind of like you sweat a lot. I mean,
right.
that's getting down to it. You sweat a lot. You take in a lot of fluid, but you get rid of a lot of fluid. And I can't really, in my 25 years, I can't recall that being a problem.
No, me either. We're going to have to go to break on that note. I don't know whether it's coincidental that I moved into the host role and somebody called and asked about using the bathroom, but we better go to break. Here's some footage of Leonard Wood as we go to break.
You know, more professionals use Napa parts than any other. And that makes all of our customers feel good about our quality. They know what it takes to fix it right the first time.
Get your ride ready for the season at the right price, too, at Napa's Tailgate Sale. With Napa halogen headlights for only $4.99 and STP gas treatment, buy one, get one free after rebate. So head to your nearby Napa Auto Parts store for fall savings at the Tailgate Sale.
We keep America running.
There's Mr. and Mrs. Larry Britton from Citgo. Larry and Fran are our sponsors, and been with this team for 10 years now as a sponsor of the team. What a great relationship the Wood brothers have enjoyed with those people, and I see why. They're the greatest people in the world, not only sponsors, but big race fans. Really enjoy coming to the races.
There's nothing any better than having a sponsor that likes racing.
That's exactly right.
That's the best thing. Well, we got to find out what Derek from Winston-Salem has got a question for us.
Next week is our last race at North Wilkesboro.
Yep.
How do y'all feel about losing a short track race?
Well, I think that it's going to be sad a little bit for me, probably more so for Daryl. He's had a lot of success at that racetrack. But North Wilkesboro is the first track I ever drove a Winston Cup car on. So my career goes back to thinking Wilkesboro's a special place, but we got to grow up sometimes. You know, the tracks that I think short track racing will be around forever. Richmond, Bristol, those places. Not supposed to say forever, but we're going to race at those places. Martinsville as well. That if you had to pick one that was going to go, I think everybody on the whole list would have picked Wilkesboro. I mean, it was just inevitable that it had to be the one to come off if indeed something had to change.
I really think that they just take a look at the list of places where I've won a lot of races and figure they'll eliminate those. They did that at Nashville. They did it at Riverside. Now they've done it at Wilkesboro. So, I mean, they're cutting down my chances of winning. Listen, I got a little present for you here, bro.
Well, thanks. What I got?
It's an RCA car personal CD player. And that's yours for being such a great guest on this show.
/ host.
Sometimes question mark host. But how's your car? Are you going to be good tomorrow? You think where are you starting? I don't even know.
Well, we led second round qualifying today. We had an engine failure yesterday during qualifying and got that thing tuned back up today and was the second round fastest. We'll start 26th. Who knows? I think it's running pretty good, but it'd be hard to say.
Well, I want to tell you, it's a pleasure to be on the show with you. You're a great guest, and it's been a great show, folks. We'll see you next week. Be sure and watch in next week.
Race Talk with Eli Gold hits the road in its Vectra motorhome by Winnebago Industries, the official motorhomes of NASCAR. For information on the Winnebago Motorsports Club, call 1-800-643-4892, extension 2. When you travel as many miles as we do at Race Talk, you need a vehicle you can depend on. We found our Chevy truck at Dale Earnhardt Chevrolet, and so should you. And make plans to join Dale Earnhardt for his 10th annual open house on September 30th. Just call 1-888-333-DALE for all the details. No matter what you have to carry, do what we do at Race Talk and use a Featherlight trailer. Featherlight trailers are the official trailer of NASCAR. Call 1-800-800-1230. Now it's easy to get through to us. Just call the Race Talk voicemail box at 1-888-CALL-ELI or email us on the internet at email@racetalk.com and watch each week for your question.
The Dukes of Hazzard, weekdays at 4 and 7 on TNN.
Turn on to adventure. Turn on to fun. Turn on to excitement. Turn on to romance. Turn on to emotion. Turn on to an American original. Turn on to country. Turn on to CMT. If CMT is not available in your area, contact your cable operator.
Your weeknights are big with TNN Big Country. Enjoy the hottest acts on CMT presents Monday night concerts. Tuesday, go backstage and on tour with today's superstars as you hit the road. Wednesday, turn on the lights, roll the cameras, and catch all the action. You'll see the stars come out. Thursday, check out the personal side of country's legends as you discover the Life and Time series. Friday, round them up and hold on tight for Championship Rodeo. TNN Big Country, weeknights. You've been watching TNN, the Nashville Network. TNN is owned and operated by Gaylord Broadcasting Company and is a division of Gaylord Entertainment Company. Our studios and offices are located at Opryland, USA in Nashville, Tennessee. While this concludes our regularly scheduled program day, we invite you to stay tuned to this channel for special programs and informative announcements.